My dear students, this is the HSC class. We will discuss about physics first paper, and we are discussing from the second chapter, uh, vector. And today's class we will discuss the addition of vectors. Beloved students, please look. If at a point two vectors act at the same time, that is simultaneously. If two vectors act like this, that means the length of the vector indicates the length of this, the length of OA indicates the magnitude of the vector, and the direction indicates the direction of OA indicates the vector P. And at the same time, let us take OC. This ray, the length of the ray indicates the length, the magnitude of vector Q, and its direction indicates the direction of the vector Q. So if these two vectors act on the same point, the two vectors make a new vector. Okay, that means their action will be expressed by only one vector. You can think, if you put an object on this, and you are pulling in this way and your friend is pulling in this way, so ultimately the object will go a direction like this. So what will be the actual direction? We can find out by the law of parallelogram. Law of parallelogram. What it says? It says that if you take these two arms at the adjacent arms of a parallelogram, and if you complete the parallelogram, at that case, the diagonal from this point will indicate, the direction of the resultant vector, and its length will indicate the magnitude of the resultant vector. Got my point, dear students? Okay. So that means if you add P and Q vectors, you will get R vectors. Okay. So if you complete the parallelogram, take a ruler and measure the length, and the length will be the magnitude of R. If you take a protractor, and by the protractor, if you calculate this angle, if these two vectors are acting with an angle alpha, and the resultant is making an angle of theta, you can calculate the theta by a protractor. You can easily know the angle of the resultant, you can know the magnitude of the resultant. But if you don't have these two instruments, it's really tough to go with these two instruments. At this case, mathematically we can calculate. So what we have to do, I have to calculate the length of the diagonal and angle of the diagonal. For this case, let us do one thing. Extend this arm, and take a perpendicular line from this point. Let us think this point is B, and we have drawn a perpendicular on the extension of OA. This is the perpendicular is BD. Okay, so what we say, triangle OBD is right angle triangle. This one is right angled triangle. This one is right angled triangle, right? So for right angled triangle, using Pythagoras theorem, what we can write, OB square is equals to OD square plus BD square. Okay, so what can we write here? OD equals to what? OD is equals to what? OA plus AD. OA plus AD whole square, and this one is plus BD square. Okay, so the length of OA is P. Oh, I see. I don't know what is the length of AD. Let's calculate. If this angle is alpha, this angle will be also alpha. And also triangle ADB is a right angle triangle as well. So for right angle triangle, if this length is Q, this will also be Q, as it is a parallelogram. So we can calculate AD and BD both. For AD, let us take cos alpha. Cos alpha is equals to base by hypotenuse, that is AD by AB. So AD is equals to AB cos alpha. And so on the same process, sin alpha. Sin alpha is equals to what? Oh, that is shut. Sin alpha is equals to what? This is equals to BD by AB. So BD is equals to what? BD is equals to AB sin alpha. Okay. So AD is equals to AB cos alpha, and AB is equals to Q. So we can write down Q cos alpha whole square, plus BD is equals to AB sin alpha. AB is equals to what? Q. So we can write this Q cos sin alpha. This is Q sin alpha. So it is Q sin alpha whole square. So I can expand this by A plus B whole square. So P square plus 2P Q cos alpha plus Q square cos square alpha, and this one is Q square sin square alpha. Now if you take Q square common, cos square alpha plus sin square alpha, this will be equals to 1. So if we raise this part, I am getting the formula. OB is equals to R, so R square. So now I can write down R is equals to square root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos alpha. This equation will indicate the length of the resultant of the vector. Okay, R is the resultant, and the magnitude of the resultant is square root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos alpha. If you know the formula, now you can calculate easily, very easily, the magnitude of the vector. In the next video, I will upload some mathematical problem along with how can we calculate the angle of the resultant. Thank you very much, my dear students.